We once talked about the most dangerous man on the dark web, a man some call the king of snuff, Pete's Collie. And in that video, I remember saying something. At this point, I genuinely feel like the world should end. Everyone should just die. And no, I'm not joking, not exaggerating, not even saying this for dramatic effect. I truly mean it. Because what I'm about to tell you, if these videos are real, then I believe humanity is already lost. And maybe it's better if this world doesn't survive. I said that because if monsters like this really exist, then we're heading into a very dark direction, a place where evil no longer hides in shadows. It thrives. While looking into disturbing stories like these, I came across a true crime case. One that sounds fictional, but every word is horrifyingly real. When this case was first revealed, even the police refused to believe it. They thought it was a sick joke, like someone describing the script of a twisted horror movie. But as evidence slowly came to light, not just the police, but the entire world media was shocked. The man at the center of it all, Josef Fritzl, a respected figure in his community. People knew the name, people admired the man, but no one, not even his closest friends, had any idea what kind of devil lived behind that familiar face, and certainly no clue what was going on inside the basement of his house. Josef was an old man, lived with his wife, Rosemarie. Together they had 7 children. One of them was Elisabeth. But once she went down there with him, Josef pulled out a rag soaked in ether or chloroform, clamped it over her mouth, and held her tightly until she passed out. When she woke up, she was trapped inside that secret chamber. That bunker had no sunlight, no air, no ventilation, and certainly no way out. It had a low ceiling, only around 6 feet. The rooms were small, cramped, claustrophobic, a makeshift bedroom, a tiny living area, a storage room, and in one of those rooms, Elisabeth would spend years. She left the baby outside their home, so Josef and Rosemarie could raise it as their own. Surprisingly, Rosemarie agreed, and she raised that child as if it were truly hers. But the horrors never stopped. Josef, he never stopped himself. And because of that, he fathered 7 children with his own daughter, Elisabeth. One of them died during childbirth, which meant 6 children survived. 3 of them were trapped inside the underground bunker. The other 3 lived above ground with Rosemarie. At the exact same time, 3 children were growing up in a dark, suffocating cell where there was no air, no water, no sunlight, and the other 3 living a normal life upstairs with grandma. Every time a new child was born, Josef would place the infant in a box and leave it outside the front door. Then he'd tell Rosemarie the same story. "This is Elisabeth's child. She left it here." And Rosemarie believed it. She raised all 3 children with love, convinced that they were simply abandoned by her daughter. But down below, in that hidden chamber, there was a girl named Kirsten. She was 19 years old, and in all that time, she had never seen the outside world. One day, Kirsten fell gravely ill, so sick that Elisabeth begged Josef to take her to a hospital. She had to plead for everything, beg for medicine, beg for light, beg for help. And finally, Josef agreed. He carried Kirsten to the hospital. But when the doctors saw her, they were stunned. It felt like they were looking at a ghost. Her skin, pale as snow. Her body, severely deficient in vitamin D, because she had never seen the sun. The doctors were shocked. To treat her properly, they needed to know her medical history, her biological parents. They asked Josef, and again, he told the same lie. That child is Elisabeth's. She ran away years ago to join a cult. And when this girl was born, Elisabeth left her at my doorstep. But this time, the doctors weren't convinced. They looked at the test results. Severe deficiencies, abnormal vitals. And Josef's story? It didn't add up. They began to suspect something was deeply wrong. To save Kirsten, they needed to find her real mother. So the hospital contacted authorities. The story hit the media. Kirsten's photo was everywhere. News anchors said, If Elisabeth is watching this, please come forward. They also showed Elisabeth's photo and made a public plea. If anyone knows where Elisabeth is, please contact the police. And here's where the story takes a terrifying twist, because in that secret underground chamber, Josef had installed a TV. And one day while the news was playing, Elisabeth saw herself, her own face, broadcast to the world. The world was searching for her daughter. And when Elisabeth saw this, she fell to her knees, begging Josef, "Please take me to the hospital. Please save my daughter's life." Shockingly, Josef agreed, but on one condition: she had to lie. Tell everyone the same story, that she had run away to join a cult, that she was never kidnapped. Elisabeth agreed. Josef brought her to the hospital. The moment she arrived, doctors, police, everyone was waiting. But instead of being welcomed, Elisabeth was arrested. They thought she had abandoned her children. But in private, when the officers spoke to her calmly, she told them everything, and the truth was unbelievable. Today, they live in Austria under protection, far away from the man who did this to them. Josef, he's locked away in prison, alone, far from the family he destroyed. But here's the point. Many psychologists studied this case, and they all agreed on one thing. This wasn't spontaneous. It wasn't random. Josef had been planning this for years. He built the bunker long before Elisabeth turned 18. He waited, he prepared, he obsessed. And the moment she came of age, he acted, kidnapped her, locked her away, used her, and fathered her children. This wasn't madness, it was meticulous evil. He made the chamber escape-proof. He planned how to handle food, how to get rid of waste, how to make sure no one ever found it. He even took long vacations, left the house for 15 days at a time, knowing no one would discover the bunker. While his victims starved underground, Josef was out enjoying holidays, smiling in photos, living a double life, and not a trace of guilt could be seen on his face. But before we end, let me ask you something. Do you really believe that Josef's wife, Rosemarie, had no idea what was going on? Do you believe that for all those years while babies appeared at her doorstep, she simply accepted it, raised them, loved them, and never questioned a thing? Was she truly blind to it all? Or was she a part of it? Let that question sink in. Because sometimes, evil doesn't hide in the shadows. It sits across the dinner table.